Hey guys, real quick, I'm reading this article on Yahoo News about this man named Jason West from Utah, from Vernal, Utah, who was charged with disorderly conduct. Why? Because he paid, or tried to, it doesn't say they accepted his payment, he tried to pay for a $25 medical bill with pennies. Apparently that's against the law now, to pay bills with legal U.S. currency. This astounds me that maybe, like Amy has an opinion on this. She believes that maybe it wasn't the pennies that got him in trouble. Maybe it was the disorderly conduct came from his mouth. Like maybe he came in, put the pennies on the counter and said, F you, you effing count it. I'm going to bleep myself here because the boys like watching these videos. But, maybe it was his mouth that got him to disorderly conduct, not the pennies. But let's just say that it was the pennies, for instance, because this article seems to point in that direction, that the pennies were the offense. Should he be charged for paying money? Paying a bill with real U.S. legal tender. Pennies are real money. If you collect 1,000 of them, you take them to the bank, they give you $10 bills. They give you a nice crisp $10 bill. Here you go. You just changed 1,000 pennies into $10. Why can't he take? Well, I guess he could have went to the bank. He could have rolled them up. He could have went to the bank, got $25 and went and paid it. But the point was, they were aggravating him, apparently, over this $25 because he didn't feel he needed to pay. He didn't have a bill with him, but they kept saying you owe us $25. So I guess in his retaliation to the claims that he owes $25, he said, fine, I'll pay it. Here's $25 in pennies. I don't know. What do you think? Seriously, what do you think? Should places, like they even state, hold on, let me get the information. In this article, they state that he isn't alone in the ranks of penny protesters. A wise guy in Frederick, Maryland, showed up to the county clerk's office last summer with bags of cash to pay off his tax bill of $966.86 in change. That's a lot of change. That I understand it creates a lot of work for the people that are accepting the pennies and the nickels and the dimes, because they have to roll them up and then cash them in, and they're heavy. Because we took, my friend Bill and I, you've met him before. We went to the casino once, and his wife at the time, they're no longer together, but his wife at the time worked as a cage cashier. To play a prank on her, we took $100 worth of pennies. That was heavy, heavy boxes of pennies. Mind you, they were still rolled. We just went to the bank and got rolls of pennies. But let's see, who else is there? A New Jersey school district a few years ago punished. A few years back, I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. Let me start over. A New Jersey school district a few years ago punished 29 students who paid for their $2 school lunches in pennies, possibly a prank with 2-day detentions. I personally don't see a problem with this. The only problem is the worthlessness of the penny. The penny is truly worthless these days. It honestly is. I don't understand why we even still have them, other than the fact that it's just been a long-standing form of currency. There's a lot of pennies out there. It'd be hard to collect them all and cash them in and get them all organized and destroyed, I guess. But I really think we need to get rid of the penny. Just go with the nickel as the lowest form of currency. And I know people will still be like, I'm going to pay in all nickels. That's fine. They should be able to pay in protest in change, because change is legal tender. I understand that it's a bit childish, it's immature, and it's a bit ridiculous and aggravating that they would do such a thing to the worker, who's probably not responsible. I'm sure the clerk at the doctor's office was not responsible for his $25 fee. I'm sure that has to do with, billing department or the doctor himself or herself. But I really think Pennies should be, get them out of here. Toss them. They really are a pain. Say you get 8 cents in change. You got a nickel and 3 pennies. What are you gonna do with that 3 pennies? You're gonna toss them in the ashtray of your car. You're gonna throw them, in a bucket at home, or you're just gonna throw them on a counter or a dresser, and you're not gonna touch them again unless you absolutely need some money. Then you can gather them up. But people are not gonna complain if something comes to, let's say, $10.02. If you round it up to $10.05. I really don't think people are going to complain about that. Because if you don't have the money to purchase whatever you're purchasing, you don't have the extra 3 cents, why are you purchasing this item? Do you really need it? And if you do, I'm sorry, go find a nickel. I'm sure there'll be plenty out there. You look on the ground in parking lots. We find nickels and pennies on the ground all the time around here. I don't know if that's because of the town we live in, or if it's a common thing around the world, but there's change everywhere. Pennies are everywhere. You're stuck to gum on streets and stuff. It's pretty sick most of the time. But I personally think this guy should fight this, and the fine goes up to $140. You can charge $140 for paying with money. What are we coming to? Seriously, like I said, I understand the aggravation that it causes, and I understand his protest, and I understand that he should be able to, I believe he should be able to pay with legal tender. And I heard about a guy a couple years ago who had like $100 in pennies, went into a restaurant and ate like $87 worth of food, and then just threw his $100 worth of pennies on the table and said, that'll cover it plus the tip. And then they called the cops on him. They told him he can't pay that way. You shouldn't be like, oh, we accept dollars, fives, tens, 20s, 50s, and hundreds, but I'll be damned if I'm accepting coins. I think that's a little bit, that should be against the law to refuse legal tender. Or it makes the bill null and void. Like, if you refuse the legal tender that they represent you, then you're refusing, annulling, and voiding. You're voiding out the bill. That's what I feel. So I'm going to stop rambling. What do you think? Do you think pennies should be abolished? Do you think we should get rid of the whole penny system and go with just straight nickels as the lowest form of currency? Do you think this guy should be fined? Should he get the max, the $140 fine? Do you think he should? He was in the right. He was paying with real money, and they should just accept it. What do you think? See you tomorrow.